Night settles over an African riverbank, the water flat as glass and a thin breeze just enough to tip the reeds, as if in quiet agreement. A herd of antelope pauses, necks lowering, eyes tracking the smear of moonlight on the surface. And in the exact instant their gaze leaves the water for half a blink, a dark seam slides along the muddy lip like a pencil line just drawn. No roar, no chase, no noisy theatrics, only a sudden shatter of water, clean and cold as broken glass. 3 brief seconds are enough to upend the order of the entire bend. How can a hunter that almost never runs down its prey make an entire savanna hold its breath with nothing but stillness? By what logic does it choose its hiding spot? How does it read the habits of its prey? And why can a single sweep of the tail collapse distance to 0? In this video, I'll lead you to the complete answer, from the riverbank's invisible map, to a body built for ambush, to a hunting cycle compressed into a few decisive seconds, and the common misconceptions that get people in trouble when they stand in the wrong place at the wrong time. If you find analyses like this useful, please subscribe and leave a short comment. One small action that helps us keep the highest standard for future episodes. And now, let's begin. Straight into the art of stillness of the Nile crocodile. The Nile crocodile doesn't need the entire river. It needs a true convergence point. That point is a gently sloped bank, soft mud, slightly turbid water, the shade of reeds, and, most important, paths packed with tracks. Those dark, slick trails polished by hundreds of hooves day after day tell it plainly that everything comes here. At dusk, when the sun pulls off the water, the crocodile patrols the edge like a librarian rereading the ledger. Which herd drinks at what hour, where they pause, which slide is the quickest way down. It isn't in a hurry. With patient micro moves, it checks depth, smells fresh mud, memorizes pressed grass. A water seam darker than usual, a fresh slice in the mud, a ring that takes too long to fade, details most eyes ignore, are bright signposts to it. Look at that head floating like a piece of rotten wood, a minimalist design for invisibility. Eyes, nostrils, and ears sit along the crown, letting it ride extremely shallow. Just 2 eyes and a nose tip to see, hear, and breathe. The dark back and ridged, knobby scutes break the boundary between body and water, dissolving the outline in dappled light and shade. In ambush, being seen is wasteful. So when we say there's nothing there, it's often because we haven't learned to read the water's language. An oddly calm strip beside a windy bank, a ripple running against the breeze, a motionless dark patch in a changing picture. Any of these may be it. But that stillness isn't emptiness. It's a compressed spring. On dry sand, the crocodile is clumsy. In deeper water, it's an arrowhead. The decisive instant arrives like that spring released to its exact range. When the prey lowers its head, its eyes leave the surface. When a hoof takes a half step more, the center of mass tips forward, shoulders drop, hamstrings tighten. Exactly then, a broad, muscular tail lashes once, only once, and the whole body surges, the gap becoming 0. A crocodile's jaws aren't made to slice like a big cat's. They're made to hold. The first bite locks onto a neck, a leg, or a snout. Then comes the death roll. The body becomes a drill, the water the blade. The goal isn't spectacle, but speed. Unbalance the prey, tear tissue in the right place, flood the lungs, and shut down resistance. If the prey is large, others join quietly. No display, no quarrel. Each takes a corner, they rotate to the same rhythm, and often it ends before the herd understands what just happened. The crocodile's hunting cycle is compact, yet tight enough to feel like a formula. Find the busiest drinking gate, set the body at the exact depth, eyes level with the prey's legs, Angle the head toward the upward slide and keep a deep lane open directly behind. Then stillness. Time passes through it like quiet current. 15 minutes, 30, an hour, until the conditions align. Head down, shoulders lowered, a half-step sink into soft mud, the rim of the slope right in front of the snout. The script is finished. It simply performs on cue. Launch, clamp, drag backward. Victory here doesn't belong to the faster runner. It belongs to the animal that knows how to weaponize timing. You rarely see crocodiles giving chase for a simple reason. They don't need to. Chasing burns energy, raises risk, and alerts the herd. Ambush does the opposite. It saves fuel and lifts the win rate. Choosing the right stage is half the battle. A narrow drinking chute, a slick mud shelf, a turbid strip with helpful depth. On that stage, one tail beat beats dozens of hurried strokes in open water. Even after a miss, it returns to the same slot and resets the track with stillness, because for it, stillness is how you attack. Its menu is broad and practical. Fish, water birds, mid-sized mammals. Carrion is never wasted. When the prey is too large to swallow at once, it tears off portions or caches them in root tangles, eddies, and debris snags to eat over time, avoiding open spaces where competition is likely. In a slow, rotating eddy, a piece of tissue turning under a root mass is a pale marginal note for observant eyes. A perfect ambush just took place here. Chilling as that strategy sounds, it is rational, safe, tidy, efficient, and waste-averse. Yet the crocodile is not only a hunter, it is also a riverbank gatekeeper, a role few cherish but many systems need. Its presence keeps herds from crowding one point, which reduces trampling and erosion. By removing weak or sick individuals, it helps maintain balance at shared watering sites on which many species depend. The fear sparked by a sudden break of water can hide a truth. Without crocodiles, many banks would slump faster, waters would run muddier, drinking points would become chaotic, and in the long term, the herds themselves would pay the price. Misunderstandings about crocodiles are not just about perception, they're also about safety. Always aggressive? No. Most of the time they lie still to conserve energy, especially under harsh sun or in cold water. Do they hunt people? Very rarely. Risk spikes when humans are in the wrong place at the wrong time, hugging the bank where slides meet the water, blocking approach and exit routes, or stepping between a mother and her young of another species, triggering the natural alarm system that puts you in the worst possible position. If you must be near waters where they live, don't squat at steep, murky edges. Your view is both low and late. If you're in a small boat, keep a parallel buffer along path-marked banks. Don't hug the edge for a false sense of safety. Avoid getting trapped in narrow coves between bank and floating vegetation. That's losing your exit. And at night, double your caution. Lamps can convince you everything is clear, while the crocodile all but disappears into water shadow, just a few body lengths away. Just as crucial, never stand across the mouths of convergence points, places where fresh slide marks, dense tracks, and dark water seams all say the same thing. This is a junction used by many lives. There are small but telling biological details that show how carefully this strategy of stillness is engineered. Thick skin and muscle anchored to bony plates help spread impact in turbid struggles. Eye structure favors low light views right at the surface. Nostrils act like valves that close during rolls. And metabolism supports long fasting, trading patience now for a decisive feast later. They bask to warm muscles, sink to cool down, They do.